to face the real issues affecting me. Healthcare and education and a bankrupt economy. Your future is in your hands, so don't you throw it away. Believe me, it's true. It's not what they promise, it's what they'll do. Politicians should know that with a government salary, their job is a service, not to empty the treasury. No contracts to friends, no four-wheel drive to be free. And raise workers' pay today if you want to stop bribery. Murders and crime, prostitution, drug trafficking is out of control now, and the police doing nothing. While some live in fear, many others are living here. But most of us will come back if Guyana's on the right track. Your future is in your hands, so don't you throw it away. Believe me, it's Guyanese, wake up and look what is happening all over Guyana. Man, the people are suffering. Isn't it time to elect a good government? One with integrity to serve you in Parliament. Don't worry about race, for we must learn to live as one. Reject politicians who would turn blacks against Indians. It's time to face the real issues affecting me. Healthcare and education and a bankrupt economy. Your future is in your hands, so don't you throw it away. Believe me, it's true. It's not what they promise, it's what they'll do. Politicians should know that with a government salary, their job is a service, not to empty the treasury. No contracts to friends, no four-wheel drive to be free. And raise workers' pay today if you want to stop bribery. Murders and crime, prostitution, drug trafficking is out of control now, and the police doing nothing. While some live in fear, many others are living here. But most of us will come back if Guyana's on the right track. Your future is in your hands, so don't you throw it away. Believe me, it's true. It's not what they promise, it's what they'll do. Once we were leaders in the land of prosperity.
All right, hey, guess what? Good evening. My name is Mark Benchap, and welcome to Straight Up. Look, let's get down straight to business. I noticed somebody's asking whether this is the Harry Gill. Yes, it is the same Harry Gill. He's singing in 2011, 2012 about corruption. He's singing about the PPP. He's singing about corruption in the PPP. He is singing about racism in the PPP. He is singing about giving contracts to their friends in the PPP. Yes, It is the same Harry Gill. Where is Harry Gill tonight? Yes, people, it is the same Harry Gill. I want you guys to listen to the song before we get ready to rock and roll. Mind you, former Minister of Housing, she was also former Junior Minister of Infrastructure. She's with us tonight. Annette Ferguson, Member of Parliament. She is with us tonight. But I want you guys to listen to the words of Harry Gill. The same Harry Gill, who is an advisor to the so-called Minister of Home Affairs, advising the so-called Minister of Home Affairs on security matters. This guy has no experience, none whatsoever, but he is advising the Minister of Home Affairs about security matters. He's getting a lump sum salary, and on top of that, guess what? The security, that policeman that did 14 hours shift, according to reports, fell asleep at Harry Gill's house while guarding Harry Gill, a policeman. And now this is a guy that was singing about corruption and corruption under the PPP. Well, became long after that. I mean, not so long after that, he became an MP and all manner of things. And now he's all over on social media. Well, he dares not come on this show to talk about or ask the question what the coalition did for Black people. That's all they ask. As though they're the smartest in the room. Smartest in the room? Give me a break. We saw what happened to Anil recently at the CCJ. After all, his own supporters realized that he's really not that smart, right? Anyways, Annette Ferguson, Member of Parliament, is with us. I'm just enjoying. Can you guys wait a minute? It's Thursday night, right? Oh gosh, let me just take a sip of this. Give me just 1.5 minutes, and let's listen to this guy, Harry Gill. So when he talks about decency and morality and democracy and all these manner of things, listen to him and understand why these people get involved in politics. Most of them. Look at this guy. Look at Harry Gill. Shame on Harry Gill. PPP, corruption, racism, all manner of things. Come on, operator. Let's get right back to Harry Gill and his song. The biggest calypso in Guyana right now. Hear what he's singing about the PPP. Go, Harry Gill. Go.
Mismanaged resources is the cause of your poverty. We used to be proud, now we face a disgrace. Vote election day, make Guyana a better place. Your future is in your hands, so don't you throw it away. Believe me, it's true, it's not what they promise, it's what they'll do. This country used to be so prosperous. We gold, we bauxite, and we diamonds. Now Guyanese are struggling to make a living. And we make the same mistakes over and over again by electing politicians who are incompetent, racist, or downright dishonest. So this...
Yes, he was singing about the PPP, that Guyanese keep making the same mistakes over and over by electing politicians that are racist, corrupt, and downright incompetent. Oh yes, that same Harry Gill. Don't let him come to you guys with his BS. That same Harry Gill.
Don't let them fool you. Don't let them turn race against race. Indians against blacks. Blacks against Indians. Man, them days are over. Let them know those days are over. Let them talk about this economy and what they're going to do to fix it. Let them talk about uniting our people so we can move forward together to build back this country. Let them talk about creating jobs and paying.
Absolutely. Harry Gill said, let them talk. Let them talk. Like that. You guys know like that song, Let Them Talk. Let them talk. Right? Let them talk. Harry Gill there for you guys. Oh my gosh, the hypocrisy is so much. But these guys pop out on the scene. They're not concerned about Guy. They're not concerned about anything. Harry Gill, was so concerned about the PPP being as corrupt as he rightly said in 2011, 2012, racist, all manner of things, giving contracts to their friends and cronies. Oh, yes, the same Harry Gill. Where is Harry? Where is Harry Gill? We got to look at him again. Oh, sorry, Harry. Sorry, Harry Gill. Not Harry. Sorry, Harry. Sorry, Harry has no shame in this game. Oh, I feel so sorry for Sorry Harry. And look, he's wearing a PYO t-shirt, a big old hardback Sorry Harry wearing a Good evening to all of you guys, and my name is Mark Benchap. I got to practice that song. I want to sing it. Thank you, Harry Gill, for that song. Gosh, he really dug into the PPP there. And the very things that Harry sung about in 2011 is the very things happening again. But this time around, Harry Gill is quiet as a mouse because he's enjoying the little crumbs he's getting. Let's move on with our show this evening. Former Minister of Housing, former Junior Minister of Infrastructure, Member of Parliament, Annette Ferguson is with us this evening. We'll take a quick break and we'll be back with our program and our guests.
So, this is attorney Shellen Washington, owner and founder of the Washington Law Firm, located at 455 Utica Avenue in Brooklyn, New York. We're specialized in medical malpractice, personal injuries, matrimonial law, and landlord and tenant. If you're in need of legal representation, please give us a call today. The number to call is 718-877-3100. Consultation is free at no cost to you. So call us today to see if we can be of any assistance to your legal needs. Again, the phone number to call us is 718-877-3100.
If you are looking to have your statutory declaration, affidavit of income, identity, damage or lost passport, lost license, tenancy agreement, agreement of settlement, power of attorney, last will and testament, and certification of documents, then you need to visit the Alistair Collins firm, located at the Killian Mall, 162 Lamaha Street in Georgetown, between Camp and Waterloo Street. Alistair Collins is a commissioner of oaths and a justice of the peace. Make certain you visit him or call for more information at 649-6410 or 685-6448 or 503-1451. And there's adequate parking available. Go down to the Alistair Collins firm and have all of your legal issues settled and brought to the fore. Alistair Collins Firm. Contact them at Alistair Collins Firm.
All right, welcome back to Straight Up. Check out those businesses, support them 100%. Speaking of businesses, tomorrow, I believe the 12th, yes, tomorrow there's this official launching of Andrew's Supermarket. Andrew's Supermarket in Robb Street. Oh, yes, go out there, support them. We should be carrying it live right here on 107. Sorry about that, on 107.1 FM. Hey, guess what? We got to do this again now. We just got to do it again. Let's go. Our guest this evening is with us, the Honorable MP, Annette Ferguson. But here's what I want to do. I really want to see if she knows the lyrics of this tune. This is a pop tune.
Guyanese, wake up and look what is happening all over Guyana. Man, the people are suffering. Isn't it time to elect a good government? One with integrity to serve you in Parliament. Don't worry about race, for we must learn to live as one. Reject politicians.
All right, here what? Reject politician, reject all of them, including the guy on the screen. Just reject all of them. In fact, I don't know, but Honorable MP, good evening to you. Do you know that song? Have you heard of it before?
A pleasant evening to you, Mark, and to your wonderful listeners and viewers here on 107.1 FM. I I heard of the song, but I am not familiar with its, lyrics therein. So
Yep,
I heard the
that's.
song some time
Are you
ago.
surprised that the same Harry Gill was singing in 2011, 2012 about corruption, racism, and giving all the contracts to friends and cronies under the PPP? That Harry Gill? Are you surprised?
No, I'm not surprised, Mark. I'm not.
You're not surprised. We are not surprised at all. But good evening and welcome to Straight Up. Good to have you here again.
Yes.
Let's get ready to get straight into some business here. We'll touch on the cost of living. We'll get your take on that. What's happening on the ground. We'll touch on these sort of houses that there's substandard houses and so forth and so on. We also want to touch on the fact that you are currently temporarily unemployed. Unemployed, but you don't have to worry about anything. You get at least I think over $50 million you won from Barra Jack deal.
Hear you,
fifty
Mark.
million dollars share some of that with us here, Honorable MP. But before you do, what is happening with that case? Has he appealed it?
Yeah, the case is still ongoing in the courts. You know that he we went to the high court, then we had the full court, um, which he appealed, and the full court would have upheld the high court's or the first instance judge's decision. So he's now heading to the court of appeal. To appeal, I don't know what, because when you read all of the documents from day one, is he's just filling the courts with the same sort of nonsense. So there's nothing new that he's filing. So it's just an abuse of the system, um abuse of the court, and perhaps he has resources to waste, whether papers, ink, and all manner of thing that goes with it. So we are awaiting a date from the court of appeal to appear before the judges there. So, to
Well,
answer your question, yes,
yeah.
the matter is still engaging the court's attention.
So it's not like you got anything and you already start spending it or so.
No, Mac, no, Mac.
No.
I ain't get anything, and I want to make it clear. This has nothing to do with money, Mac. This has everything to do with securing my integrity, securing my character, securing my dignity.
And of
Because
course, the money, he has to pay the money. So it has to do with money. Let him pay the money, right? At the end of the day, these people got to pay the money. And you did mention the fact that he must have papers or whatever. He sits there as a VP, parading himself as a VP of Guyana. And I am almost certain that it's the taxpayers of that country that is footing his lawyer's bill. The taxpayers of the country. That's the sad thing. All right. So you guys have been suspended from Parliament for a couple of sittings over the issue with the mace. You guys stood up. You guys were fighting against the corruption of the PPP in Parliament, undemocratic moves in Parliament by the PPP and their installed Speaker of the National Assembly. All
Mhm.
of those things you guys were doing in terms of protecting and defending real democracy in Guyana. In
Exactly.
1991, Chetty Jagan did the same thing. So
Mhm.
this is nothing unusual. So if they're going to want to describe the eight of you, the gang of eight, the mace gang of eight, as thugs,
Mhm.
then in equal measures they should also describe Chetty Jagan and others who did the same and even worse
Mhm.
post 1992. They should
Mhm.
describe them as thugs as well. But let me ask you this. How are you feeling about this suspension here against the Gang of Eight, the Mace Gang of Eight?
To be honest with you, Mark, I don't have any negative feelings. Reason being is that we would have stood up on for one, democracy, and two, on principle, Mark. Because what happened on December 29th, 2021 should have never occurred. We were simply asking the government to send the bill to a special select committee because many persons, whether civil society individuals, they were unaware as to what this new bill was seeking to address. Look, the coalition passed a well crafted bill in January of 2019. That is the Natural Resource Fund Bill. And that bill had all the necessary framework contained therein. How the funds were going to be treated with, the committee that would have responsibility or the oversight for monies that are to be expended from the funds, the constitution. The constitution rather of the committee, where the members of the committee will come from, whether civil society containing youth organization, women organization, I think the bar association, even from the 10 regional administrative bodies, they too would have had an opportunity to identify a nominee to sit on the committee to deliberate how these monies would have been expended. And the bill is also structured in a way how these funds will deal with projects, whether when it comes to infrastructural projects, when it comes to I think matters of emergency. The bill also speak to that. That is the bill of 2019 that was actually created by the coalition government. Now with this new bill, it would have wiped away all of the elements that were contained in the 2019 bill, such as the 22-member committee. No, the PPP believes that, well, look, a committee with so many persons, might be too long-winded. It might be cause a lot of work. So no, they look at it the short way. So the bill that we have right now, the 2021 bill, is not favorable when it comes to dealing with the Natural Resources Fund. And Mark, the very things that we stood up for, we stood against on December 29th. We have seen how this government would have treated with withdrawing of monies from the Natural Resources Fund account. We haven't heard anything, absolutely nothing from the 3-member or the 5 members committee that they would have established. We haven't heard whether they have been meeting, what they have deliberated on. We haven't seen minutes coming out from the meetings that they would have held concerning the 400 million that they would have withdrawn from that account to date. 200 million in May, and then we had a second portion of 200 million being withdrawn in July, just last month. So it is because of these concerns, it is because of what we perceive that was to come after the passage of that bill. That is why we stood up. It wasn't 8 MPs, it was all 31 of us who took a stance to say, well, look, this is our posture when it comes to dealing with this bill. Let it be sent to a special select committee, because the very bill of January 2019, that bill, before it was enacted into law in January of 2019, went to special select committee. We had consultations across this nation. We had, the experts came in and they worked with the Ministry of Finance. They worked with whomever the drafters were to ensure that we have a strong and structured Natural Resource Fund Bill 2019. So, Mark, for me, I am happy. I am happy that I took the stance on December 29th, because I fought for democracy. I fought for transparency. And as a representative of the people, Mark, we have to let the people know what the government was doing was wrong, and that is why we took the stance that we took on December 29, 2021.
And a lot of people agree with you guys, a lot of sensible people, because there are some who just basically are blind followers. They don't understand exactly what
Mhm.
transpired there. But there are times when I have my opinion or opinions that might not be favorable towards you guys in the opposition and the MPs. But I stand with you guys on this one. You guys stood up for democracy. You guys stood up for what was right in the interest of
Mhm.
all Guyanese. Because, like you rightly say, Bara Jagdev's intention and the PPP, their intention was to take away the other committees that were part of the Natural Resource Bill. The Guyana Bar Association, or the so-called Bar Association, they're very quiet on the fact that they were removed. All of these guys are quiet that they have been removed, and now it's being controlled by four men. One sit in England who hasn't been to Guyana,
Mhm.
probably is so detached from Guyana, and this is not to knock that MP. He should be focusing on what he has to do with his constituency there in London. And then we have a man, a businessman from Linden, who, anyway, Dunstan Barrow, good evening to you, and others who are totally out of the loop. So Jack Dare now moved in for the kill because he can control those men, kind of like something that he likes to do,
Yeah.
control
Yeah.
those men. And
Yeah.
thank you so much for standing up for what you guys did. But the matter is currently before the court, and under the British system, they have something that say it's sub judice, so you can't discuss much
Ex-
about it. But I would
exactly.
say that I'm disappointed that the judge who is hearing this matter did not grant a temporary order stopping the national Speaker of the National Assembly from going ahead with this suspension. This suspension should have been suspended until the final outcome of this court case.
You know,
Because, yeah, go ahead, ma'am.
Matt. Two points I want to make. I'll make a point on the last point you've made, and also I want to remind our listeners that the Natural Resources Fund, that bill was actually created to deal with all monies within a special fund. So it wasn't the intention of whether the APNU, AFC government or any future government coming thereafter to withdraw monies from this fund and have it commingled into the consolidated fund. Because as I said before, Mark, projects and other things dealing with the natural resources fund would have been treated differently from the national budget. So if you got to get a road done and money's got to be withdrawn from the natural resources fund to have that done, that project is done, the design and everything is done differently. The committee meets, they decide, well, look, if the project will cost $1 billion, they cogitate to do whatever they have to do before approving, right? Before approving, and before that thing is sent off to the Minister of Finance, before any monies are to be expended. So it's not a case whereby the money is to be withdrawn from the Natural Resources Fund and placed in the consolidated fund. And that is what this government is doing now. They have withdrawn 400 million, which is equivalent to 83.3 billion Guyana dollars, and pull all of that now into the consolidated fund. So you cannot distinguish which projects are being funded from the natural resources fund. And this is what they don't want. And that is why that is why I guess they decided that, well, look, they're going to change up this whole act to suit themselves, because it's all about them getting their sticky
Corruption,
fingers
corruption,
into
corruption,
into the into
and
the into the thing.
that perception of corruption and their sticky fingers. They have a history of that even while they were in office. We know who
Yes.
they are, sticky fingers indeed, and that is why they want to apply only four men that they can control the
Mm-hmm.
money, control the wealth, and control how they distribute it, supposedly distribute it. Majority of that money is going into their damn pockets. Honorable MP, look, let's move on. We know about these corrupt individuals. And again, thank you guys for look. This is the maze. Thank you, Lemon. This is the maze. I've never seen people hold on a maze like this before. This is the
Yeah.
maze. They're
Yes.
fighting. They claim that they're fighting for democracy, and they're holding on the maze and all manner of things. Look at these political vagabonds Quickly, describe. I know you guys stood up and I know you guys were fighting for democracy. We must admit that. You guys were fighting for that. You guys deserve your salary that month for that. You deserve it. Honestly, all of you, every single one
Mhm.
of you. Where are they? Oh, yeah. We see Opposition Chief Whip Christopher Jones there. Uh, oh, yes, Annette Ferguson is there. Look who is there too, Ganesh Mahipal. You mean, look at all of you guys. All of you guys, strong, healthy. You allow them to grab, y'all allow them to grab that mace back from you guys? Come on, man. Come on. Right?
You
Y'all should
know,
have gotten that mace and like the song says, run, 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 Annette, run, run with the
yeah.
mace. You know,
But
this is not a laughing matter. But
I
because what
know.
you guys tried to do there, attempted to do, was to stop the thieving of the people's monies. That is what you guys
Mhm,
attempted to do. Go
mhm.
ahead. You were making a point.
Because Mark, on that particular day, I went into the house with a placard, attached to my clothing, pinned to my clothing. And what I had marked on that placard, no thieving billing passing here today. That is the message I was sending to the People's Progressive Party Civic, that we on this side of the house will not allow any thieving bill to pass, right? The other point I want to raise with you is concerning the current court matter. This matter was called last week on the 4th of August 2022. And our attorney, filed an application for a temporary conservative order, so that we can remain, the status quo can remain, us remaining as MPs and not suspended MPs. The sitting judge at that time said to us that she cannot grant the conservatory order because she don't have all the applications or all the documents that both sides would have, filed to the court. She hadn't those on her desk at that time. So that is why, she asked for us to return on August 10th, which was yesterday. Lo and behold, when we returned yesterday, I had high hopes. I attended virtually with high expectation that the madam was going to grant the conservatory order. Lo and behold, our attorney at law, Mr. Roysdale Ford, Senior Counsel, we must give him kudos. He really defended, he really put up a fight. But lo and behold, the judge took a posture that her decision, or she would grant an order maintaining her position of last week. So we were not granted the conservatory order until this case is properly dealt with.
Adjudicated.
So
Two questions.
Mark,
Two
it was a
questions I have
sad,
for you.
sad,
Two
sad. It
questions I
was
have for you. Sorry. Two questions I have for you. Who's the judge again?
one, Madam Damon Young.
Probably young in the business. Didn't never heard of that name. And you guys have to return sometime in November.
Well, yes, we have to return in November, but before returning on November, both sides, I think on the 29th of this month, she would have granted, I think, the other side, the respondents, to submit whatever they have to submit regarding our fixed date application. When they finish, I think we have another date. I think it's September 3rd or the 13th for, both sides again to exchange documentations. And then we have October, I think, 12th or the 13th, if my memory serves me accurate, again, where we have to exchange for the
It's a waste of time,
documentation.
waste of time,
So,
waste of time, waste of time, waste of time. Because by now in November, y'all, when Parliament reconvenes,
well,
October.
Parliament reconvenes October 10th,
Okay,
2022.
so by then it's going to be another sitting because this would be the second sitting in October once it reconvenes that you guys would miss. And then there will be another sitting. But knowing this PPP, they probably wouldn't even reconvene Parliament in October. But what
Exactly.
is surprising, though, is that were I sitting there as a judge, These are matters that one would want to be expedited. You don't prolong these things, but there is a reason. And I'm already seeing a reason why these matters are being prolonged. This is a new judge who is young in the business, no pun intended on her last name, young in the business, and is acting. And once you're acting in any capacity, you have to ensure that you do the bidding of the paymasters. And the paymasters happen to be the installed PPP regime. Mind you, this is my opinion, because when I saw that the matter has been adjourned until November, and then in
First.
between you guys got to meet and exchange and all sort of jiggery pokery. This matter should have been put on hold. The suspension should have put on hold until all parties submitted their stuff, and then a final decision is made sometime in November. But you guys should not have been suspended. But I have my suspicion about this whole thing and the judge's approach. Just my suspicion, mind you.
Mhm,
Okay.
mhm.
Just my suspicion. Can we move
Okay.
on to something else, please?
Yes, we can.
Thank you so much. Let us touch and we'll move away from the Mace issue. And again, thank you guys for standing up for democracy in the country. You guys did well, and people support you guys 100%. Now let's move on. COVID-19 is still with us. Two died from COVID-19 today or yesterday. Two died.
Mhm.
69 new cases. Are people still adhering to this pandemic, safety precaution, or people are just moving helter skelter in Guyana?
No, Mark, there is no adherence to the COVID 19 regulations. I guess, because of the government not um, enforcing what is to be enforced, persons are of the view that Guyana is COVID free when the stats are showing us that people continue to experience death. People continue to be infected by this deadly virus. So when you walk the streets of Georgetown, you got people, they're not maintaining their distances. They're not washing or sanitizing their hands on a regular basis. They're not even wearing masks. I mean, I frequent the streets on a daily basis, and I must let you know that I still wear my mask. I still, sanitize, got my little sanitized bottle in my bag, and I try to maintain my distance. But people are not mad, and it seems as though the government don't care. You would have seen over the few days we had Juve emancipation, huge crowd gathered outside of the beach there at Marriott. We had boat cruise on Emancipation Day, some Hawaiian boat cruise on Emancipation Day, where hundreds of people gathered in one boat sailing on the Essequibo Island. Mark, you go to the marketplaces, go to the various clubs, see what is happening. Nobody cares. And you know what, Mark? You're not getting a frequent update, or a periodic update from the Ministry of Health. The Minister of Health has failed this nation, and by extension, the government has failed this nation. They have failed these people, the Guyanese. When they came into government, Mark, the death, we had 21 deaths. 21 deaths, Mark, with 474 reported cases, Mark. It's now close to 2,000 deaths thus far, Mark. And every day, 69 new cases with two deaths. Every day, we are getting deaths. And COVID hasn't gone anywhere. COVID is very much alive here in Guyana. But you know what, Mac? We have an administration that cares absolutely nothing about the welfare of its people. They don't care anything about the health of its citizens. They're a bunch of incompetent people, and all that they are doing is mismanaging the affairs of this nation. And Mark, let me remind your viewers and your listeners, The coalition brought a no confidence motion against Dr. Frank Anthony last year because of his failure in managing the COVID-19 situation here in Guyana. And not only the COVID-19, we had the whole situation with the procurement of the Sputnik V vaccines, where he stood in the National Assembly and revealed how the procurement was being managed when it comes to the Sputnik V vaccine. So we had a no confidence move against him. We also had a no confidence move against Mr. Robeson Ben, with all the killings that we would have endured as a nation since the coming to office by the People's Progressive Party Civic. But you know what, Mark? We have a speaker, a biased speaker who suddenly says to us and to this nation, oh, he has to seek legal advice from the Attorney General when it comes to a no confidence motion. When the no confidence motion, the clauses contained in the no confidence motion is clear, even a nursery school child can understand what the no confidence motion is seeking to address. So why you had to refer it to the Attorney General's office? It has those no confidence motions, or those documents have been sitting with the Attorney General office close to 1 year, Mark. 1 year. People continue to die. Crime continues to climax in this nation. COVID continue to increase. People continue to die, Mark. And you still have these two incompetent no-90s ministers sitting at the helm of these two ministries. Where are we going? Is Guyana really a real place? I don't think so, Mark. When
That's
it
the
comes to the
question.
People's Progressive Party.
Don't be surprised, Honorable MP, that these people don't do anything when it comes to, for example, a no confidence motion against Frank Anthony, or to deal and debate corruption, to talk about a Sue issue and those serious allegations of bribery and other forms of corruption that Sue told that news entity, Vice News, about that they're running away from. But in terms of the record of COVID-19 in Guyana, let's get straight to the record. And this is the record as of today, yesterday. Coronavirus cases in Guyana, 70,353. Deaths now, 1,274. Recovered, 68,500. 564. 564. That is what it is at this point in time. You did mention, Madam MP, that that the installed regime, again, the installed regime is not doing enough, if anything at all. But here's what I would do if I had any say as to what the opposition should do. The Shadow Minister of Health should have been holding press conferences at least 3 times per week to update Guyanese, not just the coalition constituency, but Guyanese in general, because the PPP is totally disregarding. They have no respect for the Guyanese people. Otherwise, we would not have been, 2 die and all the large cases and these different things. But forget about what the PPP is not doing. But what we expect is that the coalition should have been having their weekly press conferences by the Shadow Minister of Health. Good evening, Dr. Karen Cummings, if you're watching. All right, so we move on with other stuff. What is your take, Honorable MP, on the black belly sheep? This is the progress by the PPP, right? A black belly sheep.
Mark, we see exactly where the interest of the People's Progressive Party lies. It's all about bringing in whether black belly sheep, or black boards, or black meat, whatever they want to term the other categories of birds that they would normally refer to. So you see, Mark, as I said before, that is where their interest lies, because it's a case whereby when these things come into the country, we know for a fact, Mark, that they will be piloted in one direction. You hear Region 5 gonna be getting, yes, but what part of Region 5 gonna be getting? You hear Region 6 will be getting. Which part of Region 6? Because Region 6 is a big region. You're hearing about Region 2 will be getting, and I think during the consideration of the supplementary paper in the National Assembly on Monday, one government member stood to ask the minister, his colleague, the Honorable Zulfikar Mustafa. Oh, well, I think it was the deputy speaker, Mr. Schumann, stood and asked whether
Schuman is still
region.
Schuman. 1 second. Schuman is still around in Parliament.
Oh, yes, he is.
Uh,
He was very
sorry.
well present on Monday.
Continue.
Yes,
Sorry.
so he stood and he asked the Minister of Agriculture whether consideration of the hinterland region will be, getting any of these black sheep. So the minister responded in the affirmative. But though he would have responded in the affirmative, Mark, we know how those things will be distributed. We know that coalition supporters ain't got nothing to get. We know whether coalition supporters in Region 9, they will not benefit from this black belly sheep distribution. They will not benefit from the blackbird distribution. Coalition supporters, whether in Caledonian, whether in New Amsterdam, whether in Firishdale, in region number 6, they will not benefit, Mark. Coalition supporters in region 5, whether in Hope Town, Bella Drum, they will not benefit, Mark, because we would have seen the evidence is clear how the People's Progressive Party Civic has been managing the resources of this country, piloting it in one direction, Mark. So, the black belly sheep, they're here from Barbados. I think the first batch might be, I think I heard is 100, I think over 100 came in. So they should be distributing it anytime soon to these regions that I have alluded to, Mark. But the big question we have to ask ourselves, whether the ordinary people, those who really, really are engaged in farming, whether they will be the beneficiaries of this distribution, Mark. But let's wait and see how it unfolds. Mark?
And he left when he go away, so. The come back night, I'm gonna bring forward. Me eating nothing, I'm gonna bring a free.
This
I don't know the rules.
this is
I
one.
look at that right in there. Me eating nothing.
This is one of the. Sorry about that. This is one of the guys who was actually charged with what is it? Cocaine recently. He made a live, and this is what he's saying. Bascom. This is what he's saying.
Who was for me when I went in the lock up the right now. You understand me? Even though I was in Iraq, time, but it's my friend. The guy that's sick is my friend. I don't give a fuck about the world. It's my friend. I was every doing it, don't do it in front of me. Show me respect as a policeman. He don't do nothing in front of me. He's sick in the bed, right now he's going to see. He's not like the other rest of police who get friends that could drive out and walk out and meet them. He's sick on a bed, so I got to walk in and go and see. Right? Now, when the night time the car guy come back, and he come to me, he trying to say, I come for ask you 2 questions. Right? I trying to say, yeah, what's the question? He said, you may have to give a statement. I said, a statement in relation to what? Right? He said, a statement concerning when you go in the yard. How far the young lady went. Right? I said, what's the other question? He asked me if I went to do a confrontation with the young lady who went in the house, 18-year-old girl. Right? If I went to do a confrontation with she. Now look at that right in there. Me eating nothing, what to bring it for me. That like my family, bring a thing for me.
All right, that was just a recording done by one Bascom talking about his friendship with the police and the fact that others have this open relationship with police officers that they do all manner of dealings with. And in a subsequent broadcast, I will air that entire stuff. Sorry about that, Member of Parliament Ferguson. But that's just the level of corruption we're hearing and we're seeing
Mhm.
in the country. Hence my reason for just playing that part of the recording that I have. Now let's move on. Corruption, corruption, corruption. Cost of living high. People are
Mhm.
punishing in the country, throughout the country, not just in Linden, not just in Buxton, not just in Bartica or Tiger Bay, but also in Monrepo, also Port Brant, also Mississippi, Blackbush, Polar, Lesbiolen, Mybe Curie, Philippi, Alnis, Skeldon, Bartica, Letem. All over people are punishing as a result of
Mhm.
bad policies and corruption under the installed PPP regime. Not government, Madam MP, but the installed PPP regime. What's happening
Mhm.
on the ground, and what is your take on the high cost of living, and so forth and so on?
Well, what is happening on the ground, Mark, and can tell you this: a number of persons are complaining every single day. Just yesterday, someone sent me a voice note via Messenger, and Mark, you wouldn't like for me to play to hear the agony, the anguish and it's a male, in that male's voice who's hurting, desperately want to see the opposition do more. They complain about the high cost of living. People got cheering, Mark. I mean, I being a housewife, I go to the market on a regular basis, and Mark, I can tell you the prices for produce grown right here, $700 a pound for tomato, Mark. Two strings of bora is about for $400. Sweet potato, $300. Celery, two, two, two parcels of celery, Mark, $400. And the same for shallot. So things are bad in this country, Mark. But you know what? The government, I am really, really concerned for my people, especially the ordinary people, those who are living, whether in Tiger Bay, in North Rumveld, East and West Rumveld. Sometimes you ask yourself in the Sophia area how families are making out. A single mother with 5 children, Mark, who has to send her children to school on a daily basis. She gotta find food. 3 square meals, Mark. Plus, you gotta find transport. I mean, school is now out. So what you will find is that the children will be eating more now that they're at home than on a regular school day, Mark. I mean, some of them might be going to VBS, they might be going to a little summer classes, but you still gotta find transportation costs. So that's additional cost. How is that mother making out? But you know what, Mark? This installed regime, this Ali administration that oftentimes speaks about one day and cares absolutely nothing. And you're right, it is not one section of the population that is suffering. All Guyana, whether you're Indo, you're Afro, you're Portuguese, you're Chinese, is everybody suffering in this country. Mark, the opposition, the caring APNU AFC opposition, tabled a bill, tabled a motion, sorry, in the National Assembly since January the 14th, 2022, to discuss. Let us have a discussion. Let us debate this whole issue of high cost of living that is affecting our people in this country. Let us work together to find solutions. Let us work together to find common grounds to bring relief to our people. Whether we gotta give public servants a midway increase in salaries, whether we got to cut certain food items, take off the 40% VAT on certain food items, whether whatever relief we gotta give to our people to arrest their situation as they confront with the COVID, the high cost of living. This government in care. So the motion was submitted in January. It was to be debated on April 13th, Mark, we got a notice less than 24 hours to say that, well, look, the motion cannot be debated in its current format because the last and be it resolved clause in that motion was asking for the government to pay per quarter $200,000 to each household in the country. All right, so you ask that cannot be done. You ask that the motion be amended. We amended the motion, had it resubmitted in the month of April, Mark. It was to be debated on July the 21st. July the 20th, we got notification, less than 24 hours again, Mark, to say that the motion is in contravention with Article 170 of the Constitution. But when you make the comparison, Mark, the motion was not in contravention of the Constitution, but it's just that the government knows that once that motion is debated, it would reveal their incompetence. It will show what they have been doing over the last 2 years to Guyanese, some section of the population. You're treating the sugar workers, you're giving them more than what you haven't given to the public servants. You're treating other sections, other communities better than one other community, Mark. So all of these things would have been highlighted and exposed the government for their victimization and their discrimination. So, Mark, the cost of living is worrying to all Guyanese. You go in the market, people barely scrambling. I think a pound of onion is now touching $180 a pound. A pound of potato, Mark, is $120 a pound. Cabbage, $500 a pound. Big before the last, when I went to the market to pick up cabbage, $500 a pound. I had to ask the seller, the vendor. I said, "Man, what is happening here? These are items grown right here. Why is it that they're carrying these hefty prices?"
Lots of things. Speaking of which, let's go to this guy. Some of these folks, I don't know which hole they pop out of, just so dry. Look at this guy, Kenneth Dasrat. I don't know if he's from Wim Village on the quarantine, but here's what he's saying. Oh my God. Anytime a guy starts off a conversation with OMG, I already know. I are probably blogging from OP there with Kwame. OMG. Who starts off a conversation or a comment with, oh my God, etc. I go on me. OMG, cost of living is up in every country. It's called inflation. You typical guys, them. That's all they're fixated on, right? LOLO. And all the country is raising interest rate, not in Guyana. You still better of LOLO again. Typical guys. They're always fixated on that. Not even God can you people. Oh my gosh. What exactly you say? We produce sugar in Guyana. Sugar price gone up. What does that have to do with inflation around the world? We produce rice. Rice price gone up. Shallot price gone up. Cassava price gone up. Bread price gone up. Gasoline price gone up. We get enough oil in the country. Everything gone up. Prices all over gone up. But yet this Paku comes here to talk dotishness. He deserves this. We'll take a quick break. He deserves this award for the night. It goes to Kenneth, aka LOLO. That's right. All right, so that's exactly how these guys don't care what they say. They don't think before they speak. Doesn't he know that sugar? We produce sugar in Guyana. We produce rice in Guyana. I don't know, Honorable MP. What has happened to the pink slip, man? that COVID-19 cash grant and the pink slip and so forth. What's happening in your constituency about the pink slip?
Well, Mark, not only in my constituency, but I can say here that many people are still holders of the pink slips. And you know, Mark, when the government came into government in August of 2020, they started to distribute. I think it was it was I think it was 2 point no $5 billion. $5 billion was approved initially in the 2020 budget to assist with 25,000 cash grant for every household. But Mark, the goalpost started to shift after the distribution of the cash grant. And many persons, after they shifted the goalposts, well, because in the initial stage, they did not define what constitutes a household. So if you said from the inception that, well, look, each household, so everybody looking out for the $25,000. But after the goalpost shifted, you got to be owner of the house. You got to show your light bill. You got to show your title or your transport before you could have gotten this money. So many people, I know of persons where the staff visited the homes, and because the people are not owners of the homes, because the people hadn't the relevant documentations to show to the team, they were denied. Some were told that, well, look, we are going to return to you. Come 2021, afforded $2.5 billion, Mac. So in excess of $7.5 billion was approved by the National Assembly to pay out 25,000 cash grant. So if Guyana has a household of 250,000, not all 250,000 got. And we know there were massive corruption, because just last week I was speaking to someone in my constituency who said to me that even when the team came, and once you had an 18-year-old or probably a 16-year-old with an ID card, you know what the team did? That 16-year-old was able to get, but not the full 25,000. That person was able to get a 15,000 mark. So all of these things played out. And that's why we were forewarning the government in the 2020 budget, the emergency budget that they brought in September of 2020. We asked for the methodology, how these monies will be paid out. Let us see. Let them engage we told them to engage the municipalities, engage the NDCs, let the regional bodies be involved. But you know what, Mark? They did not take our advice. They did not take our advice. They went ahead, selected their people, party people, move around the place with huge bags of money, with the police with big guns along in front of them, and we
We have
know what
seen it.
happened
We
thereafter.
have seen it all, Honorable
Yes.
MP. We have seen it all. Let's go to some comments. I like some of these comments. This one here is taking a swipe at you. This one, referring to you, this one has 7 house lots. But let's pause before we move on. This is the same reason that you sued Barajak Deo. This is why
Yes.
Barajak Deo has lost the case. So Suraj Narain, if you have more seed than Baigan, maybe the Honorable MP should check out your page. And if you do reside in Guyana, to dig a hot lawsuit in your little numbskull. But anyways, failed on her scholarship. Look, the reason why I brought this up is to show how the level of thinking of these trench grapples, right? Don't talk about fail on scholarship, because Irfan Ali cannot prove that he has a first degree He cannot prove that he did his so-called PhD by himself. He cannot find the University of IFLAT. Don't come here with dotishness, right? You
Mark,
see that? But 1 second, 1 second. I know you're blood boiling. I know you want to go after Siraj. Don't worry, Siraj. Don't worry with him, because the thing is, when they come with the dotishness, I know our operator, Lemon, just throw them right away in the trench. But before they get thrown in the trench, we like to give them their award. Siraj, here is your award, boy. The boys get shamed. They get the look.
mhm.
Up to now, most of them can't even make sense. But you were about to say something. Please go ahead.
Yes, quickly, Mark. I think the person made reference to me failing my scholarship. I noticed the person's even asking for me to show my degrees,
Yeah.
but I can show my degrees. I'm a holder of 2 degrees, 2 diplomas, a postgrad from the University of Guyana, and I'm also a holder of a master's
They're
degree
fun, and them boys can't
from.
show that.
So
Don't do
I can show everything, Mark. All my certificates are legit.
don't
I can show them.
honorable MP. I just put him so that we could expose the
Hmm.
ignorance. We
Hmm.
know also that Irfan Ali and some of them in the PPP, they can, especially Irfan Ali, can show his degree. We all know that. You know that armpit uterine degree. That's the only degree maybe Irfan Ali. These
Hmm.
trench crappers are something else, man. Seriously, Honorable MP, what's happening with this Sue stuff and this allegation of corruption and bribery against Jack Neal? What y'all really doing in the opposition? Please talk to us.
Well, Mark, that whole revelation was a shameful one, not only to Guyanese, but to Guyana as a whole. And after the revelation, it just reinforces what Guyanese are aware of, that indeed we have a bunch of corrupt people in government. So when I saw the video and I listened to the interview, I wasn't surprised. I wasn't surprised at all, Mark, because these were things that were happening some time ago. And that is why Guyana's image on the transparency index would have shown us with, high percentage because of corruption in the country. So we had the Sugate revelation, and the person whose name or who was involved or featured in the interview, you heard exactly what he said. Oh, so so father is a friend of theirs, and Sue is a tenant of his, and you heard exactly what Sue had to say. But I guess because of him now being caught with his pants down, him now being put to shame, that is why he's now taken a position to have sued. But Mark, I don't believe, I don't believe that Sue will really be sued for true, because it is just, probably trying to pull wool over the Guyanese eyes, because we know how these guys operate. So what happened, Mark? The opposition, we would have continuously um, um, broadcast this matter. We called on the Ali administration to have an independent investigation done into this matter. But we know that Afan can't really do anything much for himself, because he is not the real president. The leader of the opposition moved a motion in the National Assembly on the matters of urgent and public interest, right? The Speaker again disallowed that motion to be proceeded with, because we were just asking for a committee, for an commission of inquiry to be established to ensure that a thorough and a credible investigation be done into this matter. Mark, you would have also heard civil society, individuals calling on the government, the Irfan Ali administration, to establish a special committee to have an investigation into this matter. But Mark, we know the beast we are dealing with.
Lots
These
of
people don't believe in transparency. They don't believe in the rule of law. They don't believe in accountability. So where are we now? Um, he claimed that he has filed a lawsuit against Mr. Su. So I guess all Guyanese, we are waiting with bated breath to hear when this particular matter will engage the attention of the courts. But Mark, I just shared some of my own view on how this whole suing, how this whole sue that is being sued will play out, right? So I guess that is what I would like to say at this point in time where that matter is concerned. It is still on the front burner where the opposition is concerned, and I guess you might be hearing from time to time we making mention of this particular matter.
So I started advertising.
Thank you so much. The Honorable MP Annette Ferguson is with us this evening as we prepare to pull the curtains down on tonight's show. Let me see here, looking some comments here, reading some of it. People are just frustrated. They're fed up with these people who have been installed into office. They're fed up with the ridiculous comments by some of these lagu bagus who come here and don't know absolutely anything. Do you feel that some of the criticisms against the opposition not doing enough, do you find it to be fair sometimes by some folks?
Mark, I will be honest with you. Um, Persons have their opinions, right, and their views. And if the opposition or MPs are elected to serve um, their constituents or constituencies, and we're not doing enough, I think persons have all right to call us out. But I mean, I don't want to sound as though I'm covering for everybody here, but or yeah, covering up for the opposition. I know for a fact that members are working in their constituencies. I know for a fact, Mark, that because of our challenges in terms of having our messages put out there, that also is a challenge for us because, the mainstream media is not favorable to us. You would see Village Voice. Sometimes we have our stories or narratives being told in Village Voice. From time to time, I personally would write to the editor. Starbuck News would carry my letters, and also Kaichur News too will carry my letters. I know for a fact my other colleagues there too, from time to time, they would be writing to the editors and also having articles put out there. But to answer your question, whether some of the critics are, reasonable, I would want to say yes, Mark. More needs to be done where the opposition is concerned.
Thank you so much. More needs to be done other than just writing letters and so forth. You guys need to be a little more visible in all the communities. And I know exactly what you're talking about. But those media houses that are on the side of the opposition, on the side of the Guyanese people, might not be on the side every single day, every single night. But you guys need to start embracing those media houses as well. and in an attempt to utilize them in a constructive way, not to control them, but to utilize them. Honorable MP, before you go, please, again, thank you so much for your time. As always,
You're
there are
welcome.
times when I agree with things that you do, and there are times when I disagree. The times that I disagree is minor compared to the times that I agree. I just want to wish you all the best. Continue doing what you're doing, and I know exactly what the struggle is like. Again, thank you so much for what you do. Thank you and the others for standing up on that Mace Gate incident. Unfortunately, you guys are without salary, but I know that you guys will survive indeed. Your closing remarks, please.
Thank you very much. Mark, God will make a way where there seems to be nowhere. My trust and my faith lies in the Lord. So I know for a fact that He's my provider, He's my sustainer, and He's going to see me through these trying times. That being said, Mark, I want to also thank you for having me once again on your program. And as I prepare to take my leave, I just want to say to all Guyana, to all persons on this platform that the opposition remains committed to its call, that is in representing our people. And as I said before, the challenges are real, but we remain steadfast, and we will continue to advocate, we will continue to expose all the wrongs that are being done by the People's Progressive Party Civic. That being said, Mark, I also want to say that your viewers, your listeners, including you, Mark, must not give up, should not give up on the opposition. As your tagline marks, keeping hope alive. So we all must keep hope alive, because at the end of the tunnel, there is that bright, shining light. Guyana will make a turn. God is working. And I know more. He's going to do more to see the backs of the People's Progressive Party Civic. And the coalition will return to government to ensure that we continue what we have started between 2015 2020. We promise you that good life. We started it. And I know that our work was short lived, but the time will come when we will get the opportunity to continue down the good path, that which we would have started. So that being said, Mac, thank you once again for having me, and I do look forward to appearing anytime that you request of me. And as I prepare to take my leave, I want to remind Guyanese, COVID is real. The PPPC administration has failed us big time. So the onus is on all of us to be responsible. The onus is on all of us to protect ourselves, our loved ones, and those who we come into contact with. May God richly bless you, Mark. May God continue to bless my beautiful country, Guyana, and may God continue to bless the people of this dear land. Thank you very much, Mark.
Thank you. I thought you were going to continue, but thank you so much. And look,
Mhm.
you have known me over the years, a
Yes.
long time. Over the years, I don't
Mhm.
have a spirit of giving up at all. I just
I
don't.
know. I
But
know.
people, in order for them to see the light at the end of the tunnel, the people want to see at that end of the tunnel all of the MPs shining that light.
Amen.
So when they
Amen.
look, they see Annette Ferguson with a light, others with a light. They see Ganesh with a light. They see
Mhm.
Christopher Jones with a light. And they see the others, the other newcomers and so forth in politics with that light.
Amen.
Please let that light shine and let the
Yes, Mark.
opposition shine a light and go out there and do more on behalf of their constituency. As
Thank you very
always,
much, Mark.
thank you, Annette Ferguson,
You're
MP,
welcome.
for not being thin skinned. Thank you. You're not thin skinned at all. You're
No,
one of the MPs that's not thin skinned. Thank you so much, though. I appreciate it.
you
But
must.
before we go, somebody asked about your degree. Somebody wants to see your degree. I finally, we know that you have yours, so there's nothing to question about that. Somebody questioned, according to Miss Booker, a Buxtonian who always standing up for your fellow Buxtonian, said that someone even questioned whether David Hines, Dr. David Hines, is a professor. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Some of them going to question whether he's a holder of a PhD. They go, the quacks will question that. But to give
Yes.
Irfan Ali some sort of credit, we do have his degree. We found his degree, and we want to post it so everybody can see Irfan Ali's degree before we go. Operator, can we have Irfan Ali's degree, please?
Oh boy,
Thank you
Mike,
so much.
you're
Have a great
welcome.
night. All
You
right.
too. Bye bye.
There we go. The Honorable MP there. Look, they can't say that we don't show or we don't do anything positive here for the installed regime. We have taken the opportunity to present the degree, to present the degree. Irfan Ali's degree. Here it is. This is the evidence. You can't run from that, guys. Hey, I've got to go. It's been a wonderful night. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Same place, same time. Holy smoke. Look at that degree. Congratulations to you, Irfan Ali, and your degree. This is more than just a PhD. You know what I mean? More than just a PhD. Look at his degree. Look at Irfan Ali's degree. You can't go wrong with that. We'll be back tomorrow, man. Same place, same time. Hey, if you need immigration matters, divorce, you're getting divorced, whatever you're getting, here's this lawyer.
So, this is attorney Shellen Washington, owner and founder of the Washington law firm located at 455 Utica Avenue in Brooklyn, New York. We're specialized in medical malpractice, personal injuries, matrimonial law, and landlord and tenant. If you're in need of legal representation, please give us a call today. The number to call is 718-877-3100. Consultation is free at no cost to you. So call us today to see if we can be of any assistance to your legal needs. Again, the phone number to call us is 718-877-3100.
One day me been a bamboo down, and me see Tyra lay down there, and me ask see Tyra what she do there. See Tyra ice up she belly good wine like a boxing good. See Tyra more man there, oh see Tyra more man there. See Tyra more man there, oh see Tyra more man there.
Sunday morning I was passing, and me see Tara lay down there, and me ask see Tara what you do there. See Tara ice up she belly good wine like a boxing good. See Tara more man there, oh see Tara more man there. See Tara more man there, oh see Tara more man there. Shake, 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 Tyra, shake, 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 Tyra, shake, 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 Tyra, oh. Shake, 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 Tyra, shake, 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 Tyra, shake, 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 Tyra, oh.
One day me been a bamboo down, and me see Tyra lay down there, and me ask see Tyra what she do there. See Tyra ice up she belly good wine like a boxing good. See Tyra more man there, oh see Tyra more man there. See Tyra more man there, oh see Tyra more man there.
Sunday morning I was passing, and me see Tara lay down there, and me ask see Tara what you do there. See Tara ice up she belly good wine like a boxing good. See Tara more man there, oh see Tara more man there. See Tara
And me see Tyra pon the dam. And me ask see Tyra what she do there. See Tyra ice up she petticoat wine like a boxing board. See Tyra moment there, oh see Tyra moment there. See Tyra moment there, oh see Tyra moment there.
One day, baby, now walk now. And me see Tyra on the down. And me see Tyra what she do there. See Tyra ice up she very good by like a box. See Tyra